Hello, my name is Mr. Jig and I'm the subject leader for music here at DBS. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about A-level music. So, first, where can A-level music take you? It could take you in a career in performing arts. We have had students moving on to work on cruise ships, work at the West End in London, and be part of amateur theatre groups. We have, of course, people becoming full-time musicians, whether it's pit work again for musical theatre, or whether it's a session musician working for studios, and teaching, of course, whether it's teaching your instruments or singing, or if it's teaching in schools. We had a variety of people doing a variety of things with that. So in the music industry and in education as well. So what you need to get into A-level music really is a grade 6 at GCSE minimum and a grade 5 in your chosen instrument. The reason is that the standard level expected for students at the end of year 13 is grade 7. So if you want to progress without too much pressure, you really ought to be grade 5 by the time you enter year 12. Ideally, you want to complete your grade 8 performance before you go to university. As a full-time member of the music department, you will be given plenty of opportunities to practice and perform throughout the school year. There is a breadth of opportunities for performances, graduation, winter bazaar. Under normal circumstances, we have a lot of possibilities for performances. Also, you will get to use the Macs. Now, we've had people in the past recording by themselves, mixing and everything, producing their own 9-track album. They were singer-songwriters, and they've plugged in the microphone onto the Macs, and they recorded, and they overdubbed, and they recording themselves again and again, and they mixed everything, and they sent this demo to radio stations and all that, and they started making a career in the music industry. So what do we have? We have paper 1, which is a minimum of 8-minute public performance, and it's recorded after the 1st of March of your year 13. We have a paper 2 composition. It is also a coursework, and we have an exam where we have to study set works. The format is very much like GCSE music. So you can find the spec here, and there's a list of set work here. So these so far are the set works that we are going to study. So there are 6 different areas of studies with 3 pieces of music in each. Okay, there's a fair few, but we take our time and then we dive into them and we analyze them quite in depth. There's some fun stuff like the Batman Returns theme. Danny Elfman is always fun to look into, and there's a variety of things to get a feel of music and how it developed within a given header, really. So there's that. Then the assessment. So the recital is a minimum of 8 minutes. It's advisable not to go too much over 12 minutes because the examiners need to move on to the next candidate, really. So you don't want to record a half an hour, 45-minute recital. And that's worth 30% of the final qualification. Paper 2, composition, is split in 2. So from year 12, you work on a free composition, or you can have a brief given to us by the exam board at the beginning of year 13. And then comes April of year 13, the board release a composition technique paper, and we usually study Bach chorale because it's very good for chord progressions, modulations, voicing of chords and all that. So it's very good to study this. And And yeah, so this around April of year 13. And finally, we have the paper, which is worth the remaining 40% at the end of year 13 in a sit-down exam of 2 hours. It's split, the 100 marks are split. There's 50 marks of questions, section A, for those of you who did GCSE, where you've been asked questions about extract of the set works. And there's 50 marks for essays, 20 on an essay on unfamiliar listening, and 30 on an essay about one of the set works. A few facts. Of course, you can do A-level music if you haven't done GCSE music. What you can't really do is sign up for A-level music if you've never done any music before. Yes, if you haven't done GCSE music, grade 5 theory and grade 5 on your instruments is really advisable, because there's as you've seen, there's a fair few set works to go through, and if you have to start music from scratch, reading notation and what's a clef and all that, you'll find the learning curve quite steep, and it might be a bit more difficult than you think. You do not have to play classical music for the performance. It could be any style, as long as it showcases how good you are. It literally could be anything. That's it, I think. We tend not to have overcrowded classes, really. So there's a very good working atmosphere here, because everybody's here to try to achieve something, and the working atmosphere is always very, very good. And thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon.